Hello, and welcome to Killgruz. The original Super Mario Land has always been sort of an odd game. It looks weird, everything is small, and there are some strange enemies in this one. It was developed at Nintendo by a different team than which did the NES Super Mario games, Research and Development 1, who at that point didn't normally do Super Mario games. They were responsible for the Game Boy Super Mario Land series, which is probably why those games feel so different than the NES Super Mario. Super Mario Land is strange in comparison. It has some strange locales, strange power-ups, and strange enemies. Why does a turtle explode? This game was released in 1989, so at this point, Nintendo had already put out the original Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 2, and Super Mario Bros. 2, all of which were fantastic in their own way. Super Mario Land is a good game as well, especially for the time it was released. But coming back to it today, it feels like it hasn't aged as well as the NES Super Marios. It's a short game with only 12 stages. It's an easy game to complete, and it's got some of the most frustrating controls of any Super Mario game. In my opinion, it's the controls that give this game most of its difficulty, but its level design is generally forgiving, which sort of evens it out. Still, with the exception of some of the later stages, the majority of this game is much too easy in my opinion, which is why I got excited when I received a comment from viewer OldSchoolBoi. He told me about a Super Mario Land ROM hack called Super Mario Land by Frank Maggiore back in 2006. He said it made the game challenging and addicting, which sounds right up my alley. So I played through it and thought it was pretty good. It's a redesign of the original 12 levels, and it really is difficult. Not in an unfair way either, so I do believe this is worth your time if you played through the original Super Mario Land and are up for more challenging stages. Let's take a brief look at some of the levels in this game. World 1-1 eases you into this hack. It's not very difficult, but it gets you ready for the type of platforming you'll have to do in this game. 1-2 is where the challenge really starts to begin. A lot of precision jumping and fun platforming here, but this is also where I began to realize just how difficult the controls are in Super Mario Land. It's a challenge to be pixel perfect with Mario in this game, especially if you're like me and don't like letting go of the run button. Just need to adjust your playstyle, I suppose, but wow, the controls feel restrictive. 1-3 is similar to the original 1-3, but a lot more enclosed. World 2-1 looks similar to the original level, with the platforms spaced out more and a lot less Honen fish, replaced by Uraran boos, aka the delicious looking seahorses. I want to eat that. We see the Mechabons, those robot guys with the floating heads, make an early appearance in this hack. Normally they're only in 2-2. A lot of tight jumps in both 2-1 and 2-2, where you've really got to pay attention to what's about to come up. It's tricky, but certainly not to an extreme degree. Two-3 is one of the shooter levels, and I don't find these difficult in either this hack or the original game. There are more enemies such as Mechabons, Urarans, and a Ganchan. That's the boulder enemy. Did you know that these guys aren't just rocks? They are in fact living creatures. Ooh, and I like how Frank wrote his name here, where it originally said Mario. World 3-1 is one of my favorites in the original Super Mario Land. It had that area where you had to ride the Ganchans across the spike pits. They are back here in this hack as well, but they are much more dangerous this time around. You've got to do some tricky jumps using these guys, and towards the end of the level, you even have to jump over spikes while riding one of these. I liked that part, though it was short and I wish there was more of that. The difficulty in 3-2 is about the same as the original 3-2. Both are tough stages. Avoid the spiders, make tight jumps, ride some Ganchans. 3-3 is very spaced out, and again the difficulty here comes from the restrictive controls. Lots of narrow jumps before the temple. Then the boss fight. The bosses in this game are all the same as the normal Super Mario Land, with minor changes to their layout. 4-1 has a distinct lack of the P bad guys. You know, those zombie guys where jumping on their head only stuns them? Yeah, they're not here at all. The hardest part in 4-1 are these areas where you have to bounce on the bad guys to get over the spikes. There's 2 of these areas. This first one, I totally botched that. And the slightly harder part with 3 bombshell Koopas you gotta hit. Well, you don't have to, but it would look a lot cooler if you got all 3. With the lack of the P and just a general level design, in my opinion the original 4-1 is harder than this one. 4-2 is another toss-up in difficulty. The original 4-2 is pretty tough, especially with the fireball area towards the end. But this one has harder jumps and a lot more Nyolan snakes to trip you up. There's also this weird area with spikes that don't actually hurt you. It's like you've got to take the correct path through these spikes or else you'll hit them. I thought that was pretty strange and kinda cool. The final level 4-3 is only marginally harder than the original. There is a distinct lack of power-ups here, but navigating the obstacles isn't very difficult on either version. Exact same boss fight where you have to take out the Cloud boss, then take out Tatanga, the final boss. So after this, you can start over and play it again, but this time with more enemies thrown in, just like the original Super Mario Land. Personally, I like the challenge to come more from the actual level design, and not just be overwhelmed by enemies, so I'll pass on that, but it's there if you want more difficulty beyond this. Super Mario Land ROM hacks aren't very common, as even Romhacking.net lists 10 hacks total, with only 3 actually having new levels. This is strange in my opinion, because there is a tool out there for creating level hacks in Super Mario Land, called Land Forger. It's very easy to use. Pretty much just choose the blocks you want and paint your level. It really couldn't be easier than this. 3 hacks, when this exists. Well. So yeah, this could probably be considered a very simplified look at Super Mario Land. It's a difficult Super Mario Land level hack that's not over the top. I'd recommend this to anyone who's mastered the original and is looking for a little more of a challenge. Hey guys, thank you so much for your time today and for watching my video. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you'd hit that like button. It really helped me out. Also, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I usually do Super Mario videos every few weeks or so. This channel is mainly about obscure but good gaming stuff. Stuff that you might not have heard of before. Next week, I've got something different that I'm working on, so stay tuned for that. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.